Alright, what's up guys? This is Lucas here. So today I'll be comparing the Moyu Weilong GTS version 1 and the Moyu Weilong GTS version 2. So right here I have a Cubicle Premium version. I've done some modifications, but it's pretty much the same. And then here is the magnetic version of the Moyu Weilong GTS version 2 that I got from the Cubicle Labs. And I'm using this one because I feel like the magnetic version retains the original feeling and speed quite well. And also I've done the most solves on this one out of the two GTS V2s that I have. So yeah, let's get started. So in terms of feeling in the hand, the GTS V1, it's a slightly bigger and it feels a bit rounder. This plastic feels a bit softer, and the GTS V2 feels a bit more compact, and it's also a bit smaller. And I feel like these two components really shape how the cube performs. So just as an example, corner cutting on the V1 is quite effortless, and on the V2 it's still great, but it requires a little bit more effort. So in terms of feeling, the V1 is overall pretty buttery with a slight crisp, and this is actually a really satisfying feeling. And the V2, it's also quite smooth, but not in a buttery way. It has a little bit of a bump even without the magnets, so it kind of feels like sort of like how a Tanglong is, really no indication that you're in the middle of a turn. But not quite that extreme. Overall, it's a pretty good feeling. I really like it. Both of these cubes are very unique in feeling. So in terms of speed, both of these cubes are very, very good. Both are effortless to turn. So the GTS V1, it's slightly more controllable, at least for me, and the GTS V2, it's a bit harder to control, but I think it's definitely something that can be adjusted to, because, like, for instance, back in the day, like, the Weilong was considered one of the fastest cubes, but now it's pretty slow, so, you know, it's all relative. So I'm sure this will be the normal speed quite soon. So yeah, a little bit of a difference there. So in terms of lockups, I do experience some lockups on both of these. I feel like on the GTS V1, it's more the exterior catching, like usually the corner catching on the center or something like that. I'm happy to say that that's not an issue on the GTS V2, but I do experience some lockups, probably from overshooting. I feel like there are more lockups in the interior, and that kind of ties back to the compact feeling. But I can say that when I am able to control this puzzle, my times are absolutely insane. Like, on both of these cubes, my TPS can get, like, well above 10, which is pretty cool. I'm not really able to do that on most other 3x3s. In terms of consistency, I feel like the GTS V1, my times probably are a little bit more consistent, but it's kind of strange. Like on the GTS V2, I feel like my times are consistent because I almost never get over 10 seconds, but they are not consistent, and then I get like a lot of 5s. Like on this cube, I get so many more 5s than like on others. It's just really strange. I get really good singles. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe this just suits my style a bit better. My turning style is suited for more blocky and compact cubes where you can kind of feel the friction going on internally, kind of like how the Oolong is. So the GTS V2 is definitely a lot more similar to the Along than the GTS V1 is, and I feel like that's kind of why I struggled to make this cube my main when it came out. Honestly, I think that the GTS V2 would do just fine as my main right now. I'm pretty close to being able to call it my main, so that's really cool. So if you're looking for a new 3x3, these are definitely Moyu's top 2 3x3s. I feel like the GTS V1, if you really like light feeling cubes, like very light turning and very flexible cubes, this is probably what you should go for. But if you kind of like the Volk but you want something a little bit more stable, I think this is really good. You can't really go wrong with any of these two puzzles. They're both really good. That's really all I have to say on these two puzzles, so you can buy both of these at thecubicle.us. Thank you guys for watching.